Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, you're going to do the intro this time?
What? Intro?
Go ahead. No, please.
No.
By all means. Do the intro.
Start it over.
Do the goddamn intro,
Do the goddamn intro?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Changing the Questions. My name is Mike Miner. My partner in crime, Paul Laporte.
Ew.
Hey, today's subject is, will Shinsuke Nakamura make it in WWE?
So you didn't have any. You didn't do any build up.
No,
nothing.
well,
just went right to the question.
Just fucking go.
Good. Okay, fine. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to Changing the Questions. My name is Paul Laporte. I am joined, as always, by my co-host and partner in crime, Mike Miner.
How you doing, guys?
That's how you do a goddamn intro. Today's subject we're going to be talking about is the Japanese superstar Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura has been one of New Japan's top names for over the last decade. There's been a lot of rumors recently that with Nakamura's contract at New Japan coming to an end, that WWE is showing a great deal of interest in the star. The question that we are going to ask today is whether or not Shinsuke Nakamura should make the jump. Now, there's been some precedent that's been set recently with the signings of Kenta, with the signings of Asuka, or Kana, who's Asuka, and Hideo Itami, respectively. So Japanese superstars have been going over to WWE, and while there's nobody at the top of the card yet, they've been getting over with fans. There's been a bit of success. Shinsuke Nakamura has also noted that he is looking to maybe branch out and try and challenge himself and try and make a name for himself in the U.S. However, in the past, we have seen that WWE is not the greatest when it comes to booking any sort of foreign talent, let alone a non-English speaking foreign talent. What are your thoughts on this subject, Mike?
Oh, I'm kind of back and forth on it. I think it would benefit him in some ways, and then, wouldn't benefit him in others, because if it flops, there's nothing that's going to be advantageous to him. It's kind of like the Sin Cara effect, I guess, the Mystico thing. If it flops, what's it going to do for him? If it works, it's going to work really well. I can't see any middle ground with this. I mean...
Well, first of all, let's take a look in and see what sort of appeal Shinsuke Nakamura would have to a mainstream audience. Now...
Charisma.
Exactly.
Let's start with that.
He doesn't... we don't know how good his English is, because he doesn't speak it in New Japan. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think he has a great grasp of the language. However, the man's charisma transcends languages.
He's the kind of guy that you want to reach out and touch.
Absolutely.
He's the kind of star that you need in a company like this. But I think his main problem, not so much for him, but for the people investing in him in WWE, is that he needs to speak English, I guess, because they want guys that can give promos. That is a thing that's heavy with them. They feel that's more important than actually performing in the ring and having charisma. I mean, you can have as much charisma as you want, but if you can't connect to the audience on a verbal level, then what good are you? But, and I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, so I think that Shinsuke Nakamura's biggest challenges for going into WWE is not the language barrier. It's not him not being able to cut promos. That stuff that can be learned, handled. You can put a manager on him. There's different ways around that. Personally, if I'm WWE and Nakamura comes in, I just here's this guy and just watch him, and we don't need to explain anything else. He doesn't need promos. Look at him. But in any case, even if they wanted him to, learn English well, be able to cut promos, he'll be able to do that. He's a smart guy. Hideo Itami's learning the language well. And there are more Japanese people in WWE than there were before, that they're going to be able to learn the language quicker and be able to kind of pick up that part of their game that they didn't have coming in. I think his biggest challenge is the fact that they will almost certainly make him tone down his style.
I agree.
What were you going to say? You see?
No, I mean, no. You know what? I can agree with that. Also, my other thing is, do you think they'll change his presentation? Do you think they'll think it's too much?
I mean, that would be ridiculous. Part of WWE is kind of the over-the-top pomp and circumstance. To take that away from him, I think, is to take a piece of what Shinsuke Nakamura is out. It's possible, but they would be like, why are you even signing the guy then at that point if you're not doing it for his presence? And that's another reason that I don't think that the promo thing is going to be a big deal, because they know that he can't speak English or that it's not his first language. They're aware of that, and the fact that they're still interested in him makes me believe that that's not going to be a problem. But I do think that they would try and get him to work a more WWE style, where he couldn't be as fast-paced or as hard-hitting as he is in New Japan, and that's one of the things that makes him so well-known. He's the king of strong style.
Yeah. And
so I think that they would make him tone that a little bit, and that he wouldn't be able to do as much as he does. Would he still be able to use the Bomaye as a finisher? That's a big question, and I don't know how he would adapt to the quote-unquote WWE style of wrestling. I think that would take a lot of the shine off the guy. Also, I think him coming to WWE, there's another thing in this, in that New Japan has already gone on record to say that they are basically willing to fill a boat up with money and ship it to Shinsuke Nakamura's door and go, hey, here's a boat full of money. You can keep the boat too. Please stay. They've said that they are willing to offer him up to 7 figures to stay.
I mean, they've invested in the guy heavily, so why not? I mean, if you're going to invest in somebody, do as much as you can. But as far as the style, I think he would find a way to adjust to that style. It's a case of any performer that is worth the money to invest in, any guy that's around that, is a big enough name, he's willing to adjust his style, I guess. He's able, not willing to adjust, but he's able to. He's able to adjust. It's with any job, anywhere, you're able to adjust to different circumstances.
Hideo Itami, it took a little bit for him to find his stride.
Yeah.
He had to adjust his style a little bit.
And even now, before he was out with injury, you can see it changing a little bit. But,
and Asuka, it's funny, because Asuka, they're just like, just beat him up, we don't care, that's fine. They really didn't make her change her style at all yet. So maybe we're wrong. Maybe they would just let Shinsuke Nakamura come in and be like, alright, just stiff kick the shit out of everybody, whatever. I mean, it's better than, it's really no worse than dropping them on their head like Brock does.
I'm just hoping that the other thing that we touched upon was the whole promo and speaking English and everything. I certainly hope it's this kind of situation where they understand that it's a unique kind of character and personality, and that he possibly doesn't need to go out there and cut 10-minute, 20-minute promos and say things like tater tots and suffer and succotash and shriveled prunes or whatever else they have people saying. The guy speaks volumes without speaking at all. So, I mean, he doesn't need to. He can reach out to the audience. He can get in touch with them just through his tics and his mannerisms and his body language.
So let me ask.
And that's what a lot of it comes. That's a lot of what people present themselves with is body language. Verbal is only a small percentage. Body language is huge, and he has a lot of that.
So let me ask you this: though, if you're WWE and you get your hands on a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura, do you start him in NXT?
I think you may as well. I mean,
really, it's getting to the point where it seems like everybody who gets signed runs through NXT. But here's legitimately one of the top 5, maybe top 3 best wrestlers in the world.
I'm torn on it. It's one of those things where I think it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
It would give it would lend more credibility to NXT, as if they don't have enough already. The in-ring work speaks for itself. The presentation of the show speaks for itself. The type of audience that's around speaks for itself. It's one of those things where NXT is what it is, but it certainly wouldn't hurt Nakamura, and it wouldn't hurt NXT to have somebody like Nakamura.
Here's how I would do it if I'm fantasy booking WWE and I signed Shinsuke Nakamura. Hold him, say nothing about it until... try and book a Raw in Tokyo or in Japan. Do that, then have some sort of open challenge or something, whether it's John Cena, akin to John Cena's title challenge or whatever. Have some sort of challenge be issued by somebody, and then Shinsuke Nakamura answers that, because then you have a live crowd who knows immediately who he is. You debut, because I think that to debut Shinsuke Nakamura, you should do it on the main roster, out of nowhere, like, here's this guy, and he is immediately in the scene. I think that if you did that in, Des Moines, Iowa, you run the risk of half the crowd going, bah. But if you do it in...
But it's fucking Japan, Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
yeah.
I mean, if it's Philadelphia or Chicago, they're still not going to know.
Yeah.
But if you do it in a place like Japan, like you do a Raw there, then you have...
They're gonna know.
Yeah, they're going to know who that is, and they're going to go crazy, and then that's going to make the people watching at home go, hey, who's this guy they're going nuts for? The announcers can tout him up, can build him up in a big way, and then that's how you introduce him.
Yeah, I mean, you see the audience. You see the audience in Japan.
Yeah, and then so you introduce him with that loud reaction. You have him do a big, majestic entrance, and then you have him have a barn burner of a match with your top guy, his first night in the company, and maybe he wins or maybe he loses.
Impressive people at
but
home,
that's how you set it up, and people will go, what the fuck was that? And then not only do they have the people looking into Nakamura himself, but they're going to continue to watch the show to go, who is this guy and why is he like so well known here, and what is he going to continue to do? It's going to give people something that they're not expecting, and it's going to lead to people continuing to tune into your show to see what's going to happen from here, because this guy's just coming and shaking up the whole scene.
That's actually a tremendous idea. I don't know if I can improve on anything like that, but I'm sure there's things here and there. But for the most part, I think that's a very strong, very solid thing to do.
Okay,
I mean, it's
so other side of the coin. Congratulations, Miner. You're Shinsuke Nakamura.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
but let's
say hypothetically you were.
Yeah.
Do you go?
If I've exhausted all my opportunities otherwise...
Well, what do you mean by that?
If I'm at the top of my game where I'm at now, and there's opportunities elsewhere, yeah, I'd say yes. Let me take it. Especially with the biggest company in the world.
I mean, basically, you have the choice of being at the top of New Japan for the rest of your career. Or,
but you know what?
Going to something else. That it's a risk where you may flame out, but you also may hit heights you could not have hit at this place.
If it's a matter of money, money doesn't always speak to me personally. It's great, but it's a matter of like I said, taking a new opportunity. If I want to stay in the same company, New Japan, the rest of my career, I can do that. It's almost guaranteed. But do you think New Japan's going to take or turn me away if I happen to flop at WWE? I think they'll take me back.
Good point.
It's just a matter of trying out new challenges, trying to get the American audience to watch me and take to me, and if it doesn't work, I'll go back to New Japan, where I'll undoubtedly be as successful, if not more so, going back there. Man. But yeah, it's just like. But
the thing is, though,
opportunity.
Here's
Take
the thing:
advantage of challenges and new opportunities, and you're going to be happy in life. If you stay stagnant for so long, you're going to be unhappy, I think.
But you mentioned, he could always go back to New Japan, and he can, but he's 35 now.
Yeah.
So if he signs to WWE, presumably they're not going to just sign him for a short-term contract.
But you also got to think as well. Like you said, he's 35. I'm not saying the WWE schedule is kind to anybody. I mean, look at the news we just read. Stardust is out now.
Yeah.
Barrett the other day had a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are going down like crazy. Nakamura, I'm sure, either way, he's risking himself. No matter what you do in that ring, you're risking yourself if you take any kind of bump. The strong style in Japan, New Japan. He's taking a risk with that. WWE, being on the road 300 days a year, you're taking a risk with that. But, it comes down to what advantages are going to benefit you the most and where you want to be in your life. And I think it's a choice he's got to make if it's presented to him. And, it's multi-layered.
Okay, so if I'm Nakamura, I think I'd stay.
You would stay.
Honestly,
what's your reason?
I think I would stay unless WWE came to me specifically and said, here's what we're going to do with you, and gave me a really concrete, solid idea of how I was going to be booked. Because if WWE is just coming to me, and I'm Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm one of the top wrestlers in the world, and the top wrestler in Japan, or certainly up there, and WWE just comes to me and says, hey, we want to sign you. Come to us. We'll see what you can do. That doesn't give me any sort of confidence. And like I said, based on how WWE has booked foreign wrestlers of all kinds for basically ever, it gives me no confidence that I'm going to reach even close to the same level that I'm at now, regardless of how good I do, regardless of how good I can speak, regardless of the matches I put on. So unless WWE says, okay, here's our plan, we're going to throw you right into the title scene, you're going to be a big deal, we want you, you're one of the best in the world, and we're going to treat you like you're one of the best in the world, as opposed to, we think you'll be good for NXT. That's going to make the difference as to whether or not I sign. I personally think that WWE is probably going to lean towards the latter more than the former, and that's why if I'm Shinsuke Nakamura, I stay in New Japan. As much as I want to see him here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him in WWE, but it's just, I think it's the whole style issue. They have their own style. They want everybody to adjust to it. And I guess I see why, but it's tough. This is one of the tougher questions.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. So we want to know what you think, though. Be sure to leave us your feedback. You can send us an email at changingthequestions@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at changingtheqs. That's at changingtheqs. You can also check us out on Facebook and at our YouTube page. Just search Changing the Questions. We're also available on iTunes. So if you listen to us on iTunes, be sure to subscribe. Leave us a nice little 5-star review. Say some kind things about us. And you can get a hold of us any of those ways. We'll be back with another episode in a couple days, depending on when this one goes up. We have episodes every Tuesday and Thursday of the week, plus we do the occasional, although it's been pretty frequent, recap shows and things like that in between. So always things going on with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.